Nigeria is a place where my dad spent most of his childhood and made an endless amount of memories he could never forget. He was born in Lagos, Nigeria's biggest city. Almost everywhere you go will be crowded and loud, considering Nigeria is the 7th most populated country in the world. Every day, my dad was always doing something to keep him entertained. He grew up in a family of 7 kids, so the house was never quiet. He had 5 brothers and 1 sister. Whether it was swimming and playing outside with his neighbors and cousins, or watching movies and playing games inside with his family, my dad was never bored. His parents owned a clothing store, construction business, and hotel. Because of this, he spent time working and playing there. My dad especially loved reading books by the authors named James Hadley Chase, Ian Fleming, and Jacqueline Susann. Ian Fleming is a legendary known author known for creating the book and movie character James Bond. Jacqueline Susann is known for Valley of the Dolls, which is a book and movie series as well. All of these books are filled with suspenseful drama, romance, and action. Being involved with a lot of business and reading adventurous books at a young age inspired my dad to find a love for traveling. While he traveled to places like Japan, Germany, and Italy, he also traded and bought items from different countries. During his travels, he heard people speak of the United States, a place he had surprisingly not been to. People talked about it as if it was a promised land. So my dad flew to California so he could see himself what all the fuss was about. He wanted to see if America was as great as people had said it was. He immediately fell in love with the weather and opportunity available in California. It was very different from what he was used to. My father's first job in America was a precinct organizer, which is a person in the election district who gets people out to vote. While he was there, he studied business administration at San Francisco State University. He also worked as a computer technician at San Francisco International Airport as well. Even with work, my dad visited the beaches, museums, and the world-known Golden Gate Bridge. Now he could say that he's been to these places an endless amount of times. His plan was to stay in California for only a few months, but something about it made him want to stay. He lived in San Ramon, Antioch, Oakland, and San Francisco during his stay there. California had the perfect mix of excitement and thrill and diversity for an avid and passionate traveler like my dad. Since California was, and still is, such a culturally diverse place, my dad found that he felt more comfortable about being there, knowing he wasn't the only foreigner. Maybe it was the chances he had with business, the incredible weather, or the exhilarating news about the local sports teams that made him love this place so much. Back then, Michael Jackson was still a reigning pop king. The San Francisco 49ers were a football team that you just couldn't ignore. They won in 1989 and 1990, which contributed to making San Francisco so well known. He also had a job working at Candlestick Park, where the 49ers used to play on the weekends. This gave him access to tickets and live 49er games. Presidential elections also added to the excitement. His love for California made him change his mind from staying there for a few months to a few decades. All of these great aspects of California helped with the decision to live there. In 1996, my dad met my mom for the first time while traveling through Newcastle upon Tyne, a city in England. He had previously talked to her on the phone through his sister. She was there to study and get her master's degree in petroleum geochemistry. Neither my mom or my dad would ever expect that they would ever get married. 2 years later, on March 21st, they got married in a hotel in Lagos, Nigeria, where they both grew up. For their honeymoon, my parents went to relax in the vibrant city, Las Vegas. When my dad had come to officially live in America, not everything was as easy as he had hoped. They had just gotten married and had my 2 older sisters, Debbie and Christina. He was still working as a computer technician at the San Francisco International Airport. In 2002, my dad found out both of his parents had passed away in Nigeria of natural causes. He immediately flew to Nigeria to go to the funeral and see and comfort mourning family and friends. It was a hard and sad time in his life, and he had the chance to spend a lot of his time grieving, but instead he went back to his wife and 2 kids and continued to live his regular life. I admire his resilience after something that impacted his life so greatly, and the fact that he put his family before himself. I respect him after knowing the combination of hard times and adventures in his life. Even though he may not live in Nigeria anymore, he loves to still travel there every year or so to see family and be reminded of why he loved it so much. He now has 2 official homes, Nigeria and America, and I know he has a special place in his heart for both.